the moment.
They do bat quite deep.
Happening out here at the moment.
Certainly very dangerous. They do bat quite deep. With the bat as well, very dangerous. So Rashid Khan, still work to be done as well, can do some damage. So
of course, you would have played a fair bit against Mohammed Nabi, but him with the Renegades, and you with the Stars against Mohammed Nabi, but him with the Renegades, and you with the Stars.
Quite a bit, and with them as well. Spent a little bit of time with these guys, quite a bit, and with Rashid Khan them as well. Spent a little bit of time in the PSL with Rashid Khan. At Mohammed Nabi's been at Hawklanders in the PSL as well, and Big Bash. So Nabi's been at the PSL as well, and Big Bash. So bat and ball. Wonderful T20 cricketers with both bat and ball.
And again, it's part and parcel of the rise of cricket. Again, it's part and parcel of the rise of Mujib of cricket in Afghanistan. For the Brisbane Heat. Got Mujib playing for the Brisbane Heat.
Yes.
Again, I'd be very interested, Ben, in your thoughts. We were just talking in the 4 overs with Andrew, this employment of third man, fine leg in the circle, sweeper on the offside, deep square leg. Your thoughts on that, Pete?
Yeah, it's a really common field now, I guess. I know you don't. Look, I think as that's top edge down to fine leg. I think whatever field is important is actually to that field. And sometimes I think, if you have third man and fine leg up, and for instance...
And again, I'd be very interested, Ben, in your thoughts. We were just talking in the 4 overs with Andrew, this employment of third man and fine leg in the circle, sweeper out in the offside, deep square leg. What's your thoughts on that, B?
Yeah, it's a really common field now, I guess.
Do you agree with it?
Well, I know you don't. Look, I think as that's top edge down to fine leg before. I think, whatever field you do incorporate, it's important that you're actually bowling and trying to execute to that field. And sometimes I think, if you have third man and fine leg up, and for instance a deep square leg and a deep point, you're going each way. You're trying to protect both sides of the wicket, and I think that's always can be a really dangerous way to go. I quite like the field that Ireland employed early to Gurbaz, which was the deep square leg and the deep mid wicket, which meant they were going to try and go quite straight at him. And there's another wicket.
It is another wicket, and Captain Balbirnie takes the catch. Above his head, Nabi really getting no sense of timing there. It was a slower ball from hand. And he's having a good run, Fionn Hand.
Yeah, it was into the wicket. Nabi just tried to give himself a little bit of room to access that offside. Just didn't quite time it, and the captain took a relatively simple catch, but an important one at cover.
Yeah, got high on the bat there, didn't it? It's the end of the 5th over. 55 for 4 now, Afghanistan. It's all been happening here. Game truncated to 11 overs. So Ireland back in things. Obviously part of your own prediction pre-match. Afghanistan will be looking for something in the order of 10s or 11s, certainly in terms of this. So they're up with that rate, but of course it's not as necessarily important. And here's an interesting time. Simi Singh coming into the attack now after Delaney's first over, and probably if he can get anything going to Zadran here, it would be an advantage to Ireland.
It's an interesting stage now for the Afghanistan boys in a sense. They kind of have to rebuild a little bit. They can't afford to lose 1 or 2 more wickets quickly, but at the same time, there just really isn't that much time left in their innings. And that's the importance of taking those wickets. And Gareth Delaney with the golden arm, 2 wickets and an over, has turned this fixture on its head.
Well, you did speak about that, Ben, before the game, this whole importance of pressing for wickets early. And it's brought Ireland back in the game.
It's a big moment for Simi Singh as well. Obviously the World Cup's just around the corner and he's back into the team. Be really keen to try and cement a place in that squad initially and obviously in the team going forward.
I think one of the advantages, again, of playing in Australia, Ben, you're going to be dealing in bigger boundaries generally. There won't be a huge amount of access to a lot of these shorter boundaries. We're seeing you were at a 100 game yourself there last week in London, I understand.
Yeah, it was my first experience of the 100. I really enjoyed it, actually. First time being a part of a full crowd post-COVID as well for cricket, and it was really enjoyable. But you're spot on, you know, grounds in Australia traditionally are much bigger. I mean, there are some smaller boundaries, but certainly, you know, by and large, stereotypically, they're much bigger playing surfaces.
I think it makes for much, like whilst we're in the shorter format and all that, I think it makes for much more interesting cricket, because it still doesn't mean the big guns can't smack it out of the park. But the other side of it is you know, brings the area of placement, maybe getting good balls in an area where you can get twos. We saw Glenn Phillips play brilliantly here, again with his team and a little bit of bother, but he was largely able to do it risk-free. And you know, the thing he spoke about after the match was, I wasn't that impressed with himself with his own strike rate, but it's the 15 or 20 he gets for the bloke at the other end that you tend to forget about.
Spot on. And I was really fortunate enough yesterday to have a coffee with the Irish captain, Andy Balbirnie, and we spoke a lot about, you know, the World Cup and playing on Australian surfaces. And as that's lofted over mid-off, Simi Singh just went a touch fuller there. Provided Najibullah with a step hit, and he's strong enough with a full bat swing to get that up and over mid-off for a maximum.
Well, again, isn't that a funny one? Last ball of Simi Singh's over, and it was a good one, and he tossed that up, as you say, and probably forcing potentially get for the wicket. But Najibullah, he didn't need a second invitation there, Ben.
No, he hasn't. He's raced to 20 off 8, shaping as a very dangerous pass and right on call. Ireland's man with the golden arm comes back into the attack. Wasn't his best start in the first over today that I've seen, but it's been an impressive rise for Josh Little over the last 12, 18 months.
Yeah, I think sometimes with Josh, I think if he can work over the winter months with whoever he can, the bowling coach from Ireland, Ryan Eagleson, and trying to work in this area of getting the ball back into the right-hander, because he bowls at genuine pace now. He's up in the 140s most of the time, and when he gets it right, he gets a lot of the best players in the world out.
Oh, in my mind, Alan, there's no doubt he is a star in the making, and you're spot on, especially with the new ball. If he can master the ability to bring that ball back in to the right-hander and away from the left-hander, and you put that on top of his skill set, which he already has in terms of slow balls, his ability to come around the wicket late, bowl death, he becomes the real complete package. And when I think of left-arm bowlers around the world who make serious impact, the Trent Bolts of the world and the Mitchell Starks, I mean, they are invaluable to their own teams and any team going forward. But it's all ahead of the young man, I think, and it's been really impressive to watch him grow and keep getting better. Looked like an off-cutter into the wicket, a touch wide. Najibullah launched that over that cover region, and mid-off could do nothing apart from stand and watch that go for one bounce 4.
Well, this is a great shot because, as you say, Ben, he gets it wide of long off there.
Incredible shot. It's almost off the back foot. Stand and deliver. One bounce 4.
And just great striking ability, as you say, 24 off 9. We spoke before he even came to the wicket how destructive he can be, and he's proving it so far.
Give him a little bit of width, though. He's got that ability to free his arms and get his hands through the ball. I'd like to see him go a little bit straighter here, Little. Wide again and squeezed out to deep point. Fuller this time. They scurry through for one, but can't get back for the second.
That's out to Tector on the sweeper boundary. Tector normally in these latter stages is down at either long off and long on with the height that he has.
It's a hot spot down there as well, Lou. You want your best fielders. He's a natural athlete with a good arm, so you want your best fielders in those hot spots. And that does look like the bigger side, that side of the ground, so potentially that might be a tactic to the left-hander, is to throw it out there and let him hit to the bigger side. Into the wicket, dot ball through to the keeper.
I think the other thing Ireland should be trying to focus on now is making sure Sadran is talking to Paul Reynolds, the umpire, most of the time. Keep him at the non-striker's end as much as you can.
That's right, and keep bowling to the new batter. Omar Razi will certainly feel the pressure this shortened game. He's back into the team. He'd like to make a statement himself. It's 3 or 5. It's important that he gets off strike. It's good bowling. Little coming around the wicket, tucking it up nice and straight, getting that right-handed hit to the big side, as we spoke about.
And as we talk, Ben, the sun's come out. Who would have thought that an hour and a half ago as the rain was teeming down here? Nice smattering of people come into the ground. There would have been a great degree of uncertainty. A lot of forecast for rain, but Phil McCormick predicted rain would stop at about 4 o'clock, and he was absolutely right.
It's a big ball, this one. Last ball of the over. It's been a good over from Josh Little. Into the wicket. Hard length. Well, Sterling's got a little bit of work to do there as he covers the ground well. Keeps it to 1.
And it's the end of the 7th, 73 for 4. So an important 4 overs coming up, and they're going to be covered by yourself and Andrew Blair White.
Delaney's back into the attack. Taking a couple of wickets, 2 for 6 off 1 over. Turn this game on its head in Ireland's favour. He'll have his work cut out for him here. Najibulah's on a bit of a roll as I welcome you back into the seat.
Yeah, thanks, Ben.